welcome.
Hey,
Uh,
everybody.
Great. Thanks so much for joining us. This is our Snorkeling in K-12. My name is John Lavin, and it's great to have you all here. And I'm super, super grateful to be joined by our special guest, Jen Lawson. Jen, thanks so much for coming.
Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. You know how excited I am about sharing Snorkl. It is, like I've said before, this is my favorite application, and we have teachers using it kindergarten through 12th grade, all subjects, all grades. I'm excited to share what some of our teachers are doing here in Northville.
I'm excited too. If you are joining us here, feel free to follow along and post something in the chat. If you want to give a quick shout out to where you're joining us from and maybe what you teach. And if you've used Snorkl before too, feel free to drop that in the chat as well. We'll be checking in throughout the call and happy to answer any questions that come up. And then we'll be sure to save a couple of minutes at the end to answer questions as well. Stephanie, great to have you here. Marianne, great to have you. Dottie, great to have you. All right, Jason from Las Vegas. Jason used to live in Las Vegas. Jason, where do you teach? Okay, Cindy, awesome to have you all here. Julie, great to have you. We got a Northville friend here, Jen.
Yay! Go Northville.
Awesome. Drake, good to have you as well. Awesome. Well, Jen, I'm super excited for you to share. I know that your team there at Northville has just put a ton of really thoughtful energy this year into exploring different AI tools. I got the chance to come out and visit at the beginning of this school year, which was really fun. That classroom was packed full of people. And I've just been so impressed by the energy that your team has and the ways that you're thinking about exploring these tools. So I'm wondering if maybe you want to just start off to share a little bit about some of the things that you all are thinking about as you explore AI tools this year. And then we can switch over into sharing some of the ways that you're doing that with Snorkl.
Oh, I would love to. So our district, we kind of, when Chat GPT was released, it was like, oh my gosh, it's the end of the world. What do we do? And so we really embrace that AI is here, and it really is the future of kind of where education is going to go. But how do we use it responsibly in a way that helps student engagement, that helps student learning, and also helps our teachers as well? And so over the past year, our district has really looked into 10 different tools, some of them pretty well known, and some of them others may not have heard of. But the one that kind of rose to the top was Snorkl. And I think part of it is its ease of use. We have first graders that are using it with fidelity, and their reading scores are increasing and their fluency is getting better. And then we have math students using it. I taught math for 25 years at the middle school at Hillside, and go math teachers. And one of the things that we always thought was, okay, are students truly understanding, or are they just doing the process? And so with Snorkl, we're not just getting an answer. We're able to understand, do students really know what they're doing, and can they explain their thinking in a meaningful way? We have Spanish teachers using this at the high school as part of the curriculum, and our physics department and our chemistry department is using it almost on a daily basis as part of their practice for school. So instead of, we call practice instead of homework. So we've really spent a lot of time thoughtfully looking at these programs to see, okay, are we getting feedback that is good and valuable for our students? And that's what we're seeing with Snorkl. It is specific to student responses. It's not just a general nice job or try again later. This allows students to grow and learn with every single question. And that's really powerful, and something that I, as a teacher, really want students to be able to explain their thinking and understand what they're doing. And I love Snorkl. It's just fabulous.
I love that it's caught on. It feels like it's sort of seeping into the culture of the school, and just there's so many different ways. to leverage it. When we first started, we were really focused on math because my background is also a
Mhm.
classroom. And I think as we were sharing with math teachers, there were a couple of science teachers who were like,
Mhm.
I'd like my kids to explain their thinking too and get feedback. And then it sort of grew from there. And then we had world language teachers using it, and then has grown into ELA and social studies as
Yeah.
well.
And today I was working with an amazing special education teacher at Moraine Elementary School, and Katie Grimm and I were looking at how can we use this in the special education field. So this is not a tool that just one subset can use.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the same tool, K through 12, that all of our students and teachers really seem to enjoy. And the feedback is just phenomenal. So thank you for creating such an amazing product.
Well, thanks. It's been a lot of fun. I know that you've prepared some examples of
I have.
how folks are using it. So I'm going to hand over the screen here to you and
Okay.
put this up on the stage. You ready for this?
I am ready. So
Okay.
I wanted to show this is our first grade class. These are students using Snorkl, and this is the second time they've used it. So these students were able to read passages from a book and get feedback on their fluency. It was absolutely incredible. And one of the other things I kind of wanted to share is we touched on 73% of our staff is using this. I don't know that we have any other tool with that type of data. 47% are elementary, 30 are middle school, and 23% are high school teachers. And as word's getting out, more and more teachers are using this tool to help their students learn. So one of the things I wanted to show you first is this amazing first grade class. And so what the teacher was doing is had the students, she just uploaded this picture. And can I just say how amazing it is to listen to a student read aloud?
Oh, they're real cute, aren't they? Oh, Jen, I don't know why, but I don't think the audio is coming through. At least it's not for me.
Oh
We
no.
did this
Okay, I know
yesterday, and
when
it did come through.
it did.
I think so. Yeah. Let me
Oh,
see if
okay.
maybe there's a setting I can press here. No. Anyone in the chat, is that audio coming through for you? Hey, there's Julie.
Julie, yay!
Well,
okay, so yes, this is Julie. Julie Warren is probably one of the most amazing first grade teachers, and this is her class. And she was the one who is putting these up, and I love the feedback. And what's neat about this feedback, and I apologize if you can't hear the cute kids' voices, but what's neat is the closed caption is on, so you can still kind of read what the students are doing. But one of the nice things these first grade classes are using is right over here is our microphone. And when I hit that little icon, it reads the feedback to the students. So first grade students sometimes may not be able to read some of these bigger words, but one of the things that I love so much about the feedback is how it pronounces the words. It does not sound like a robot. It's really amazing. And I'm not sure why we tried this yesterday and it was working great. Let me try it one more time.
it's not coming through, but it does sound fairly natural.
It does. And I know I've used some other tools with feedback with the sound, and it's really kind of chunky and sounds like a robot, as where this sounds fantastic. And what's neat, these kids are able to listen to the feedback and then respond again. So it's not just a one time, like, oh, nice feedback and move on. The students get to improve and make corrections and try again, which is so powerful. So what Julie did was upload a picture of the book and have the students read out loud. And Snorkl created the rubric, created what good feedback should sound like. And it took Julie just a few minutes to create this incredible activity. And I'm so impressed. But here's what's neat too, is I can see all of the students. Now we do have the anonymizer on. There is no one named Peach Peacock in her class or Jasper Jackal, which is neat so that you can share this anonymously. And I can see how many times a student has tried it. I can select which one to listen to. But what's also pretty cool is I can click this Insights button, and it's going to tell me which students need help in different areas. Now, as a teacher, I'm thinking, gosh, this would have taken Julie hours to do this individually. And instead, in 20 minutes, all of our students were able to get authentic, amazing feedback and make corrections and try again and keep going until they were able to get the response that they needed. So these students are growing and learning in record time. And that's just incredible. So this is one of our first grade examples. And what Julie does in her class is absolutely incredible. Now, I have to say, I am all excited about the math. And one of the things that I always want students to understand is that there's a process. We don't just follow, okay, step one, step two. There's a reason behind this. And so the students can solve these problems right, either with pen, on the screen. And again, they're going to get the feedback. But I love this. So this little bullet point I can click on, and it tells me where in that recording this mistake was made. And it always starts on a positive note. So you did a great job trying to find 20%. But again, it's giving feedback. So now so the first response, they had a 1 out of 4. After that feedback, look at what they did. They were able to go back, explain what they did wrong, and fix their mistake. As a math teacher, this is amazing. And this is just what I want students to be able to do, explain their thinking. If they just are a robot and just learn procedure, they don't really understand the math. And here Snorkl is telling us, you know what? They understand the math. Oh my gosh. How fabulous is that? And again, I can go to my insights and it will give me, look, the student incorrect subtraction markup or incomplete explanation, didn't understand percentages. To me, that's more valuable feedback than looking at a homework problem and thinking, they got it wrong. Well, now I know why, and I can now target those students and say, let's have a chat about what percentages really mean. And as a teacher, this information is invaluable. And again, this is a 15-minute activity in class where students are getting that feedback, correcting their mistakes, and explaining what they're doing. That's amazing, John. And thank you for the math teacher. Yes. And this is the one program where the math is correct in AI. So thank you.
Yeah. I mean, I think that iterative process is really powerful for learning, letting students share their thinking first and then get feedback and then share their thinking again. And it sends the message to me that I want to communicate to my students around growth mindset, right? It's not just that you submit this and the next day you're going to find out if you got it right or wrong. It's like you're going to find out immediately if you got it right or wrong. You're going to get some questions about it if you got it wrong, and then we're going to invite you to try again. that feels like it sends a really strong signal about like what do we value in this class. We value learning, we value growth, we value opportunities to try again.
Absolutely.
Or you need to get there. Yeah.
And this is one of my favorite slides, is notice the student has the correct answer, but their explanation, so the answer is correct. Great job. But look at the explanation. They didn't explain their thinking. So why are we subtracting 5 from both sides? Why are we multiplying by the reciprocal? And where did that 12 come from? So yes, you got the answer right, but are you able to explain why? And I love this question right here. Can you explain why you chose these steps and what mathematical principles you're using? That is really next level, which is where we want our students to be. You know, we don't want them to be on the knowledge level. We want them to be critical thinkers and to be able to explain what they're doing. And yep, great job, answer's correct, but you still need to explain it. So that's twofold part, which is so powerful in education.
I think about 21st century learning skills and like what does it mean to be an expert in math or in science or any subject. I'm a big fan of Joe Bowler in the math world, and one of the things that Joe talks about is, if you're not a math teacher, sorry, you may not know this reference, but Stanford professor of education, math education. She talks about a lot about math is about communication and creativity, and if we want to support our students to be competent mathematicians, they got to not just be able to do a calculation, but they really need to be able to communicate it. They should be able to share their ideas. And so I think one of the things that's really special here is like it's sort of raising the bar for what we expect for students, and then it's helping support them to get there.
Absolutely. And you know, what if there was a parenthesis in there? How does that change it? And so maybe the student who understands this process has it memorized and can't explain it. So for math, it's wonderful, but we don't use it for math, just math or just English. So this is one of my favorite responses. So this is a Spanish activity, which I'll be honest, I'm just going to go that they did it right because I don't speak Spanish. But look at this feedback: incorrect verb conjugation, incomplete or illogical responses, misuse of vocabulary. Students are practicing their Spanish and they're getting the feedback. Great job at the past perfect tense correctly. So it's giving them the feedback in English. All of their responses that they had were in Spanish. And so the teachers are able to see, oh my gosh, look, the student truly understood this concept. Their language acquisition is great. So this student, let's move on. Now I've got a struggling student who is stuck with the past perfect tense, and I can go work with them. So it's enabling teachers to differentiate. You can even challenge them, take them to the next level. So there's all these different ways to use Snorkl at all the different levels. We even have one of our physics teachers, Kim, up at our high school, is using, this is their homework, is that the students have to do. Now this I thought was amazing. A student uploaded their work, took a picture of it, uploaded it, and then explained it. Look at this. And so Snorkl was able to read this image, which is incredible. And so I just think it allows students to think, rethink, take a look at what they did wrong, improve faster than what a teacher can give them feedback. When I'm sitting with a student one-on-one, it's amazing. But when I have 35 kids in a classroom, I can't always give feedback to every one of those students like I would love to. And now I can do that with this program. And it's a game changer for our teachers and our staff. And the feedback is just incredible.
I think one of the things that feels really special to me is like that these are some like really authentic artifacts of student work. And it's not students putting an answer into a box. It's not just like capture your final answer. It's really capture the richness of your thinking, whether that's on paper or with your voice or on the screen. And sort of opening up those possibilities, I think it creates access, but it also celebrates sort of the richness of all that our students are thinking and the ways that they might be able to express themselves. So that's one thing that I love about it.
Yeah, it's absolutely incredible. And just that the students can make multiple attempts at learning. And that's what learning is. Students don't usually get the answer or right on the first try. And to get the feedback instantaneously, and then like you said, the next day it's kind of gone. So now they're getting it in a timely manner, and it's high quality feedback. It's very specific to the student's prompt, to what the student is writing. And for the teachers, they love it too, because they can always go back, see what the kid's thinking. Okay, so we've got a strong answer, or we can go back and look, well, why was this a weak answer? What happened? Yeah. We look, this student did it 3 times and is really able to improve upon their thinking and what they're doing and how they're solving the problems. And it's making them critical thinkers, which is what we want our students to become.
Yeah. I know, Jen, when teachers set up an activity, it sort of helps create an answer key for the teacher, sort of shows, here's what you expect. I haven't really prepped you for this question ahead of time, but I'm curious, what have you sort of seen, or what kind of changes are teachers making when they are setting up those activities?
I think it's really looking for thoughtful questions, and questions that aren't just yes or no.
Yeah.
That it's asking students to think, to explain, and not just a fact-based question. Who was the first president of the United States? They may ask, why was George Washington chosen as the first president of the United States?
Way more interesting question.
I can ask that question at a first grade level. I can ask that at a middle school level and at a high school level. And Snorkl will gear the feedback for that same question towards the appropriate grade level.
Yeah. And we show teachers that answer key because we think it's really important that teachers make sure that lines up with what they're actually talking about or working on in class. But we think there's a strong loop there between teacher, student, and the AI to really work together.
Absolutely. So this was a very quick activity that I created called the water cycle. And it just says, explain the diagram. I pulled this diagram right off of Google. And so you can see that I just have a very quick explanation. And then I click generate from question. And now here's the prompt. This is what I typed, explain the diagram. And then Snorkl explained the image, and then looks for, this was the answer criteria that Snorkl came up with. And you know what? If I don't want to have this feature right here, I can delete that. Or if I want to add, but I'll be honest, the criteria that they've come up with has been spot on, even with the math. So this took a matter of, I don't know, about 5 minutes for me to complete and get ready to assign to my students.
And I know that in the district there, you've actually had folks creating and sharing activities. Are you using Google Drive or Google Classroom folders, or how are you sharing those activities?
So right now we have a group of elementary teachers creating UFly lessons to share within the district. And so what they're doing is they're actually just using a Google Doc, and they have lesson 1 highlighted with a link to the activity in Snorkl. So we've got a Google Doc where teachers can just add them to their library. And it just a couple of clicks, and then it's their teacher's activity, and they can edit it how they choose to. And it's already created for them. It's pretty cool. Easy to share.
One of the things, I know you know this, Jen, but for folks out there who are watching, one of the things that's coming later this spring, or maybe probably over the summer months before next school year, is we're introducing the ability to have folders and libraries where you can actually exchange those activities within the platform and better organize them. And so we're really excited. I know a lot of people have built out a lot of Snorkl activities over the course of this school year. They're excited to use them again next year. And so we'll be introducing those folders here pretty soon.
Yeah, and what's nice too is Snorkl has created a lot of activities that we've got math all the way up to calculus, high school science, kindergarten science. And so you're working on a library to have available for everybody. And then I can go in, I can also edit those, or I can create my own as well.
Yeah. There are some questions here in the chat that came up around like resources and especially how we're thinking about curriculum. And so we're actually building some awesome curriculum partnerships that we're really excited about. Our goal here is between now and that first day of school here this fall, the amount of content in this library is going to double. And so that means that everything that has a gap right now is going to fill in. And then a lot of content or places where we already have content, we're going to add a lot more so that there's more great resources going into the next fall. One other thing that is coming out here this summer is the ability to search by standard. And so you'll be able to look at different Snorkl activities that are pre-created and aligned with the standards that you're looking for, and monitor progress in that way as well. So
that's awesome. Oh, I'm so excited. Yay. And I'm excited about the folders because I just know our teachers have been creating a lot of great content, and it would be awesome just to drop them in a folder so that all of our teachers could share.
Right. Yeah. Make that even more simple. Jen, this time has gone extremely fast.
Oh my gosh.
I really appreciate everything that you've shared. Was there another slide there, or did you get through everything?
No, we're good. Okay. We're good.
Okay, great. I want to just save a couple of minutes here for any questions that came up in the chat, and I've been trying to follow along. And I know our teammate Monique has also been answering questions as they've come up. But I'm just going to do a quick check through here and make sure we didn't miss any. There's some great questions about supporting English language learners. There's several features in here that allow students to have it translated to different languages. You can have text and passages read aloud to students. Another feature we're introducing this summer is the ability to embed videos and audio onto the whiteboard. And so a lot of opportunities are already there to support English language learners, and there's more on their way as well.
Yeah. Oh, I didn't show that. Yeah, right as we are editing the content at the bottom, it says more options. If you just click that on, you can choose the language. It's pretty cool.
Yeah. And then another one I think that came up several times here, and maybe has already been addressed, is folks had the questions about, like, can I actually have 25 students do this in the classroom at once? What would you say, Jen?
Well, I could. Too bad Julie can't unmic, but yes. So that first picture you saw was first grade students in a classroom using it at the same time.
Yeah.
So you can do it. And we really, I don't think we've really had too many issues other than like the Chromebook microphone doesn't work.
Yeah.
But that's not a Snorkl issue. It's, an older Chromebook. But yeah, we've had 25. I think I did 35 adults in a room once and did not have any issues with it.
Yeah. It's something we get often. It's a question we get really frequently before people have tried it, and then once they try it, they sort of get that confidence. And I've seen folks do, have kids spread around the room or use headphones too, but a lot of times they're just doing it from their seats.
Yeah.
Jen, this has been awesome.
Thank you so much. I love sharing Snorkl.
I really appreciate you sharing. I said this at the beginning, but I think your team is just an incredible work, and you've put a lot of energy in, and you and Aaron and other folks in the district have brought tremendous leadership to this sort of.
Well, thank you.
So Thanks for all your work around that.
We have incredible teachers that are willing to take a risk and try new things and realize this is pretty cool.
That's awesome. Thanks again. Thanks everyone for joining us. And feel free to reach out if you have any questions after the call. All right.
Absolutely. Bye, everybody.